So, Diomara.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
Diomara, yeah.
Yes, okay, perfect. I'm so happy to have you in the building.
Thank you.
I've been a huge fan, been following for a minute, so it's so great to finally meet you in person.
Yeah, it's so great to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I gotta talk about this. And you probably get a lot of questions with this. But your hair, girl.
Yeah, my hair.
Yes, I love
it. The bigger, the better. The bolder, the better. Right? I believe in so I'm a Gemini, so I can be. Hey, come on.
Wait, when's your birthday?
June 6th.
Oh, mine's May 28th.
Okay. I mean, so I can be hot and cold. This is middle ground is either I'm on or I don't want to be. I don't. Can I first my hair?
No.
Okay. It's either I'm on or I don't want to be bothered. So sometimes when I'm in different spaces, that doesn't work. You kind of have to always be on when you're in different spaces. So, when I'm on, my personality is really big. So my hair represents that, but not only that, when I walk into a room, it's just a matter of just commanding the space, right? So it kind of it helps me in that sense, but also it's a representation of my personality. It's a representation of the things that I want to do in this life, bigger and better.
So who is Diomara?
Diomara is a multifaceted black woman that's going to take over the world. Period. I sing, songwrite. Been singing for majority of my life. Been making music since 2012.
Wow.
Just released my EP Alchemy in September of 2019. So yes, I've been performing all over. I was in I did South by Southwest in Austin.
Nice.
I went to LA and did some performances during BET Experience. I did Afropunk Battle of Bands.
Shout out to Viacom.
Yeah. I did A3C in Atlanta.
Nice.
Performed for Apple. Performed for Verizon Media.
Okay, sis.
Performed for Cadillac not too long ago in collaboration with German Society. So yeah, performing all over.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, love to hear it.
Yeah, performed doing a lot of performing since my project has been out, and even before my project was out, just doing what I love. I love to sing, so so that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years consistently. Prior to 2 years, it was finding my sound, getting in my groove, finding who I was and what I wanted to represent, what I wanted to stand for before I came back, in the forefront into the world. Letting people know who I am, because if I'm gonna put myself out there, I kind of have to be confident in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right? So I took that time prior to 2018. I took that time to figure out what that was, and then as soon as 2018 hit, I've been going ever since.
Nice. So what is some advice that you could give to artists who are trying to find their identity, especially in their music?
Advice: take the time to learn who you are. Take the time to learn who you are, even if that means taking a step back and really breaking. I'm talking about digging deep. What your traumas are, what makes you tick, what makes you happy. Figuring out exactly what you want out of this life, then looking to see what it takes, and then becoming comfortable with that. Really figuring out who you are, becoming comfortable with, becoming so comfortable that however it's presented and however it's perceived, it doesn't really affect you as much. Only you care about how you care about you. You care about what you're putting into the world, less about how other people feel about it. Taking time to really figure out who you are. That's the only way you can really that's the only way you can make things that are authentic, things that people will believe, because you got to believe it before anybody else does.
Right.
So it's just really taking the time to learn yourself.
I love that. Yeah. So what does Diomara mean? Does that have a meaning?
It's in Spanish, Diomara, technically goddess of the sea, Dios
Nice.
Is God.
Okay.
Mar is sea, so goddess of the sea. That's what. Yeah, I mean technically, yeah.
I just want to know, because I was like, this is such a unique name, I noticed in your bio too, you also have alchemist.
Yes.
So, why exactly do you have that in your bio, if you don't mind explaining?
So, in alchemist or alchemy, the scientific definition rather is turning base metals into gold, and in a more spiritual kind of sense, it's like the process of transformation. So, for me, I call myself an alchemist because I always say I've lived like 3 different lives, like who I was,
Gemini lives 2 already. So.
Exactly. Who I was in elementary to junior high to high school to college and post college. These are all different periods. I'm talking about when I be throwing up pictures of like back in the day. We're like, who was that? Is that your brother? We'll be like, who was that? And I'm like, that is me. So basically, I call myself that because I've been able to take what I have, even without having a whole lot, be able to take what I have and turning that into what makes me amazing, turning that into what magic,
right.
So to speak. So I've been able to do that over the years, as opposed to like trying to look outside of myself to see how I can, I guess, come up, quote unquote. More so taking everything that I already have within myself and honing that and making that be the magic. So that's why I call myself an alchemist. And then also, like, whatever I put my focus into, whatever I touch, whatever I put time into, inevitably grows into something great. So, yeah.
Okay, so it's funny because you mentioned consistency and like being consistent with your music. And honestly, like my motto this year was I gotta practice consistency because like even like doing like a lot of people have YouTube accounts nowadays and like trying to be consistent with their music and like even just their art and their craft, you know. So do you have like a motto at all for 2020 or
motto? Okay, so boom. For the past maybe like 4 years, I've been theming my years, right?
Okay,
so
interesting.
Last year was clarity and something else. The year before that was accountability. This year is structure, boundaries. I'm sorry. Structure for professionally, boundaries for socially and personally, and then I have one for romantic relationships, which is these hands.
Oh, spicy. Okay.
So that's my.
I like that one.
That's my theme.
Don't
like,
mess with her.
Listen,
Don't mess with her.
I'm tired, but so that's kind of like my focus is for 2020, making sure that things are structured. Like, yeah, there was a lot that I did in 2019 and 2018 and prior, but I feel like a lot of those things just like me, like, oh, let me see if I could do this. Let me see if this will work. Oh, let me see if that's gonna work. Oh, that worked. Yeah. More so now, I want to be like, okay, I know it's gonna work because I've done all these different things. Right. It's going to work. Right. So now we put certain pieces in place so that there's a system. Every time I want to go after something, there's a system. There's certain people that I work with consistently. Building that infrastructure, building that team, and moving with that. So that's what 2020 is going to be all about: structure and really like big risks, big everything.
Yes.
Big everything.
Yes. That's what it's all about,
big
honestly.
Everything.
Yeah. Like, big drip. Right. Why not? Like, no, that's what it's about. Like, honestly, like, people, the thing about risk, I feel like people always feel like, they hesitate, they overthink it, but it's best to do it. You learn from it as well. Like, you see how you say you learn from so many things that now you know what to structure, you know what to do. And speak it to existence, girl, because you're definitely gonna, you're gonna move. Like, you're gonna keep moving you're already moving, but you're gonna definitely evolve to better things, like, definitely. So, I love that.
Thank you. I mean, here's the thing, like, the bigger the risk, the bigger the loss, but the bigger the lesson.
Yes.
So if you take the lesson and you apply it, the bigger the reward.
Yes.
I mean, you can't get a big reward with taking small risks or not taking risk at all. So it's like I much rather risk the loss, learn the lesson to get the biggest reward. So.
Okay, sis, I think you need a TED Talk. Because so let's talk about your EP, Alchemy. So what is this EP about?
This EP, the music on it is a representation of the time period in which I recorded everything. So, alchemy, basically signifying process. So from the beginning of me recording it until not even the end of me recording it, really until the moment that I released the project. So the music on there is representative of different parts of myself that are most important to me. And that kind of, I guess, stand out, the things that I value. So, for instance, Divided is like more of a conversation with myself. Whenever you hear you, I'm talking to myself. Like I'm a jaded mother with the weapons that can fight them all. Like, that's me talking to myself, telling myself, you're the reason why anything goes either left or right, up or down. Right. You kind of got to, like, own that. And in order for it to change, you're going to have to take it into your hands in order for it to change.
Right.
And also, it's also detailing the things that I go through with depression, depressive episodes, things of that nature. So, like, that's a big part of me because these are things that I live with, right? Then there's To the Sunrise, which is like an unofficial ode to the black woman.
Okay.
Right.
Listen, Women's History Month is coming up.
Right,
so
hello.
You gotta play that song.
Yeah, and I'm all about, like, I'm proud to be who I am, and I understand the things that comes with it. But I'm willing to face whatever that is. And I also believe black women, we are everything. What are you talking about? Like, we are, we are why everything moves. We are the brain, we are the bronze, we are the everything, you know? So, the ode to the black women, then it goes Black Magic. Black Magic, that was written around the time where, Mike Brown and Eric Garner. And I was just like, I need to have a record that really describes how I feel or how I perceive we are treated in this country. So what you're afraid of, tell me what you're afraid of, that Black Magic. Basically, the reason why they treat us this way is because they're afraid of what we're capable of. Yeah. So that's Black Magic. Energy is... Energy is like... You know, I'm a sexual being, so energy is energy is like, you know, an encounter where I wasn't even touched and I was able to climax from that. So, like, having that intense experience with a great person, and being able to get off without even engaging in the act, right? So I'm just like, that's what I'm saying. These hands, like, if we're not coming like that. Pun intended. Then you gotta leave me alone.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Oh my god.
And then I Just Want You. So I Just Want You is a record that, like, everyone's, like, really gravitated towards. And that kind of, like, details some of the stupid decisions that I be making when it comes to romantic situations. Like, I be giving the benefit of the doubt to, like,
that's why you got to get the hands.
Yeah,
that's
like,
why you got to. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, come on. Like, that was, like, a situationship where I knew it was toxic. It was not good for me, and I still wanted to be there. So, and I'm still doing stuff like that to this day. It's like, come on, man. I'm making all these moves,
you get mad at yourself.
You get mad at yourself. Like, bro, I'm doing this. Why would you be doing that?
I feel that mood. I felt that. I felt that.
Yeah. So that's an ongoing story. And
and the video just dropped as well for this. So
it did.
It was actually really spicy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it went there a little bit without going all the way.
Right. That
was premiered by Afropunk, and then it aired on BT Gems.
Yes, it did. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you mentioned this as well. You were on BT Gems. So what did that experience feel for you? Like, how did you feel about that experience?
It was a little surreal, only because, like, there's certain things, like, of course, within my career, there's certain things that will happen. It's inevitable if you keep working for it. But when it actually comes, it's like, oh, that's going to happen. So that's kind of like what it was. I'm like, wow, it's actually going to happen. The thing's going to be on TV.
Was that the first time you saw yourself on the screen?
On TV? I don't want to tell a lie. I think it is. Yes. Yes, it is the first time. It is the first time, which is, like, crazy to me, because I grew up, watching,
of course,
these kinds of things, and to have my own, content and music on it was just like, wow. Wow. Yeah.
So speaking of, like, music videos, you were also in Jidenna's Tribe video.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jazz.
Yeah, shout out to Jazz.
You both were in it. And definitely check out our interview with Jazz as well on the YouTube. Shaysayss 2S is not one. But what was that experience like too, working with Jidenna?
Well, actually, so just a little bit of a backstory.
Mm-hmm.
So, moved back to Brooklyn in 2015. The house that I moved into was the house that Jidenna was in originally with his tribe, Fair and Fancy.
Wow.
So when they, started working with Wonderland, they moved down to Atlanta and moved us into the house, our collective into the house.
Wow.
So that's when I first met him. And that's how I've known him throughout from 2015 up until now. So every time they come back to New York is love. And when they came back and they were shooting this video, it was like, hey, pull up.
Yeah, small world though. Like, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah.
So how's your friendship and relationship with him right now?
We're cool. I mean, when we see each other, we're cool. Like he just got off a tour. I think December or in mid-November. The show that he played in New York. I'm forgetting the name of the venue, but went to that, showed love. One of my sisters was on tour with him. Nice. So show love to her. So yeah, we're all family. That's all a tribe. Literally.
That's dope. Listen, if you want to come to the show, Jidenna, right. Jidenna is fine. All right, you don't get this all the time. You was like. So I wanted to ask you, because you are Panamanian, how do you incorporate your culture into your music and even just into your all of your art, all of your craft?
So right now, as far as so me being a Panamanian, I'm specifically West Indian Panamanian, so it's a combination of West Indian culture and also Latin American culture. So with that, I try to infuse, I do actually infuse West Indian sounds, like the reggae, what have you, and some of the the salsa or whatever. So when it comes to my actual recorded music, that's where, Black Magic kind of comes in as a little bit tribal, a little bit of West Indian influence with that. Down the line with my music, I'm going to be going more into that. So that's more to come. When it comes to me performing, I go all the way.
Okay. Let us know.
Oh my gosh. So I played the Afro Latino Festival in 2019, which was actually founded by two Panamanian people.
Wow.
Shout out to Amilcar and Maelka. And for that festival, I was so excited because I'm I'm about to do all the things that I'm about to do all the things that I grew up listening to. It's about to be a vibe. So started off with an original record called Baila Negra, which isn't released yet, but called Baila Negra. Then went into El General Tu Pum Pum. Then went into La Negra Tiene Tumbao, the Celia Cruz record. Then went into some Barris Hammond, I Feel Good. I feel
yeah.
And then went into some Shaka Demus and
girl, you was okay.
Listen, when I tell you I was in my bag.
Full blown concert.
I was in my bag. And and a whole medley leading up to Black Magic, because Black Magic, the way that I perform it is I perform it like a West Indian record, a reggae record. So that's man, that's how I incorporate that part of me into that. And it's a part of basically every single show that I do.
I see you have two shows coming up. Well, are they two shows? It's one that's EQ Distro, right? And then there's another one that's I believe it's Arlene.
Oh, that's the same one.
Oh, it's the same one. Okay,
so
okay.
Tuesday, January 14th, for EQ Distro, which is Rock Nation's indie distribution, at Arlene's Roasteries.
Are we gonna get that same energy?
Yeah, man. Okay. Yes.
I'm excited. Yes. Who do you look up to in the music industry, and do you incorporate any of that, what you learn or what you admire into your music?
Musically, or just overall artistry, business.
Sorry, artistry.
So as far as I guess I'll start with my influences. Beyonce is a very big influence. She
we was actually just talking about her.
Her work ethic is beyond me. It's crazy how she just goes and it's quality every single time. So definitely someone like her. I love, who else I really model after? Rihanna. because she's
just
able.
Talking about her too.
She's been able. First of all, she's like a marketing person's like dream.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, she's been able to be herself within this industry, or at least she's grown to be able to be herself, do whatever she wants to do, and package and market around that, which is like the goal.
Yeah.
That's what you should be doing. It shouldn't be gimmicks. You can't uphold gimmicks. Gimmicks won't last. You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't come in trying to be what everybody else wants you to be. You will falter. Like, but being able to be yourself authentically, and I'm talking about the good and the bad, and being able to create a career and create product around that. Come on, like, that's why she's winning. Like, it's foolproof. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's foolproof. So like, I definitely admire her for that, for being able to do that. Musically, like, a lot of my influences, I mean, of course, like Whitney, Mariah, Shaka, Anita, Luther, like Tony Braxton.
Big Luther or Skinny Luther?
I grew up watching Big Luther.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, everybody always says like there's a difference, so I gotta ask.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, my parents always tell me, like, to get me to be quiet as a child, they put me in front of like Luther Vandross tapes, and I remember him being big. So, so yeah. Who else? Meg Thee Stallion. She's out here.
Of course.
Period.
Of course.
The Baby is out here.
Yes, love me some Baby.
Who else? Cardi B.
Okay.
Like, I love the way she just like she's another one that's just authentically herself.
So how do you incorporate this into your music, like all of the, because you're naming like a lot of like rappers and singers at the same time, and a lot of them have like so much different personalities. So how do you incorporate all of that?
So when it comes to my music, like writing it, being as transparent rather, and as like honest as I can possibly be within it. That's why like for a couple of years, or maybe a little bit more than that, everybody, especially in R&B or trap, soul, what have you, is talking about being either jaded or being savages. And I'm just like, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not winning in all these relationships. I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know what y'all talking about, but I cannot get on these records and lie and try to pretend like I'm that or whatever, because I am. However, some people don't see that, and they, and that's just life. That's what life is. So being able to put those kinds of things on a record and just being fearless with that, and just like being fearless with that, and just knowing that, that kind of thing would influence people to do the same, and also people would be able to relate more to your authenticity and real story. So the people that I'm naming are people who live within that. They are themselves, regardless of what anybody has to say about it. So that's how I want my music to come across. Like, when they listen to it, it's like, oh yeah, she's being herself. I mean, me as an artist, period. I want people to understand that, like, this is me, the good and the bad. Like, this is just me.
I agree. Like, it's funny when you talk about authenticity, because even like when you mentioned like you going through depression as well, like that's something that is you should highlight, because so much people go through these things and you never know. Like, you really never know what they're going through. So hearing that from you, and like you expressing it, like, people can relate to this, and they could like also like help themselves, So exactly. I like, it's definitely needed, especially because your vibe is dope, girl. Like, your energy is great.
Thank you so much.
But in addition to music, you also are an entrepreneur on the side. You're a co-founder, Wonder Woman events. So what is Wonder Woman events?
So Wonder Woman, we are a gender-neutral tribe that curates experiences across New York City and, outside here and there for women and our allies. Essentially, we put together, we create platforms, safe spaces, opportunities for women and people who support us. So it's not just, like, so if you were to walk into one of our events, it won't be all women. You'll see a mixture of all genders. Nice. Because first of all genders have to understand the value of the woman, not just the woman. We know.
Exactly, right, okay.
Women know how valuable we are. It's people outside of us that need to understand that, especially because we have to work with these people.
Exactly.
So,
I love that logic. Listen, yes.
So that's basically the basis of what Wonder Woman is. The last event that we did was in collaboration with Twitter Allies, which is the Latin American ERG Awards Twitter. And we put together basically a show, like a live show rather, with 3 Latin American women, including myself, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Nice.
In collaboration with, we had the Recording Academies, the nonprofit Music Cares there, creating like ear molds for the artists, because we're around live music all the time, you can lose our hearing. And we had some giveaways with with the streaming service. So yeah, that was a great vibe as well, being able to celebrate Latinidad and womanhood at the same time. So that was the last thing that we did. But also, I'm also the co-founder of Millionwatts.
Yes, I was actually going to bring that up too. I see you're having an event collabing with Facebook.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Date to be determined.
Got
Date's
you.
coming, but yes. So Millionwatts, basically. So there's certain things. So like I was saying before, how certain things within me, things that I already have, kind of amplifying that, things that I love and I value, amplifying that. So I am passionate about women being able to, kind of like demanding our respect, getting better opportunities, equality, all of that kind of stuff, safe spaces. But I'm also very passionate about artists being respected as well.
Right.
And us having safe spaces and opportunities and access within this industry, especially independent artists. So that's kind of the basis of what Millionwatts is, being able to provide both signed and independent, but more so of the newly emerging artists, opportunities within certain spaces, safe spaces, access to certain things, and information, because a lot of us don't know how to navigate this industry, especially as independent artists. We have to fund it ourselves.
Right.
We have to send emails if you don't have a manager. A lot of us have managers too early. It's like, you don't need to be breaking bread with $100. Like, what is 15% of 100? What's 20% of $100? Like, what's 20% of 500? You don't need no manager. Like,
right.
So, like, being able to, like, give the proper information, especially as, like, me and my business partner, Diomara, especially as we navigate the industry as independent artists, being able to kind of give back to our peers in our community what we're learning as we're going through it all, and also as we're breaking down barriers and ceilings, being able to provide opportunities as they open up as well. So, yeah.
That's amazing. That's really dope. I really can't wait to see what you guys have in store for that, because I know, like, even, like I said, March is coming up, Women History Month. Do you guys have anything going on for even just the Wonder Woman events? Is anything going to be happening during that month?
It's in the works. It's in the works.
Got
a lot of it. Like, there's going to be a lot coming out. So yes, definitely keep an eye out for all of it, because
Okay, and what advice do you have for young emerging artists that are trying to get into this industry, like you said?
What we were mentioning before, knowing exactly who you are and what you want.
Got you.
Because when you walk into these conversations, you kind of have to come to the table knowing exactly what you want. Being open, being willing, but knowing exactly what you want and who you are. Because that's essential in anything. This industry, there's so many people. I don't think, sometimes, like, we can be in our own bubble making the music and just being to ourselves or whatever. We don't realize how big this world is. There's so many people that are doing these same things.
That's
so
true.
many people doing
that
the same things. It's like, how do you cut through that?
Right.
How do you break through stuff like that? So when you walk into these rooms, you can't be like an airhead. You can't walk in there like, I just want, No, you got to know exactly what you want and who you are. Right. And that's kind of like the first step. And if you can't get that first step, then, like, you got to go back to the drawing board.
Period. Yes, definitely. It was great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And what is in store for the rest of 2020?
A lot more performing. Well, a lot more, performing, content, music, entrepreneurial endeavors, just a lot. Getting ready to head out to LA soon.
Oh, I did see you.
Week. Yeah. Okay. So, like,
any exclusives? What you want to be doing?
You gotta wait. See it.
Like, check the Insta story. Okay.
But yeah, just a lot outdoing myself, outdoing 2018, outdoing 2019. That's what 2020 is gonna be.
Dope. I'm super excited to see where you're going with this. And I'll be watching Insta stories now. I'll definitely support it from there.
Thank you.
But definitely enjoy. Safe travels to you, and thank you so much. Make sure you drop your social handles for everyone.
Yes. So my name is Diomara. You can follow me on all social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at DIOMARA_D. You can find me on all streaming services at Diomara. And yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.